Namaste. Let's begin with a question. What if Adi Shankaracharya had not appeared in history? If Shankaracharya had not appeared, Advaita Vedanta might not have been systematized. There would not have been a clear framework to understand the non-dual nature of reality. Without his influence, Hinduism might have faced greater fragmentation. His commentaries and teachings on Hindu scriptures rejuvenated Hindu philosophical thoughts. Without his presence, the spiritual landscape of India might have been very poor. His teachings and establishment of mathas continue to inspire millions of spiritual seekers across the world even today. As you can see, it is Shankaracharya's contribution to his Advaita philosophy which emphasizes the unity of the individual soul, Atman, with the ultimate reality, Brahman. He expounded the principle of Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva na Aparaha. Brahman is the only truth, the world is an illusion, and the individual soul is identical to Brahman. In the process of promoting the Advaita philosophy, Shankaracharya faced resistance from the other schools of thought also, which held differing views on nature of reality. Debates and intellectual conflicts were part of Shankaracharya's life. One such Shastrarth or debate based on Shastras turned out to be the greatest debate ever between Shankaracharya and Mandan Mishra. Greatest because it lasted over a month. Greatest because it was the clash of titans who were exponents of their respective philosophical traditions. Greatest because of the depth and the breadth of the topics it covered. But more importantly, it is the greatest debate ever because it addressed a timeless and profound inquiry of mankind. Is pain and suffering an inherent aspect of existence, an unavoidable fate? This query has persisted through human history, prompting responses from various societies, from tribes to civilizations. Enquiries have led to two main answers. The first one says, the way of the man is in the society, the grahastha. Man should embrace life, find joy in familial bonds, extend care to those who need, and adhere to the principles of moderation and discipline. If there is a positive balance, it will yield health and happiness. If it is negative, it will invite misery and affliction. The alternative solution suggests taking a departure from worldly pursuits, sannyasa. It says, restrain your senses and direct focus towards divinity. Engage in meditation, prayer, seeking divine grace and spiritual ecstasy. Then you can transcend pain and suffering. This is the path of renunciation, which involves devotion to God. Thus, while the first approach involves embracing life's responsibility and adhering to the principles of karma, the second advocates the renunciation and the pursuit of spiritual enlightenment known as jnana. Which one is better? A karma yogi householder or a jnani sannyasi? We will soon find out. See you on the other side. Namaste. My name is Satish and I represent my team at DivineDwaraka, a platform for spiritual growth and development. If you like our work, please don't hesitate to subscribe, hit the like button, and generously share our content amongst our near and dear ones. We would be thrilled to know your feedback as comments. In the ancient city of Maheshmati, along the banks of river Narmada, lived Mandan Mishra and his wife Ubhaya Bharati. They were ideal householders. They not only preached the philosophy of Mimamsa, the path of the householder, but also embodied its principles in their daily lives. They were considered as distinguished scholars on the philosophy of Mimamsa. On the other side was the spearhead of the Advaita philosophy, Adi Shankaracharya, a young and charismatic monk known for his unwavering devotion to the divine. He preached the supremacy of God above everything and advocated that the path of spiritual liberation is possible only through sincere devotion and renunciation of worldly attachment. The challenge. A 25-year-old Shankaracharya goes to Mandan Mishra and asks him, You are seen as a top expert on Mimamsa, but I follow Vedanta, and I think the best way to end suffering is to leave everything behind and wait for divine wisdom. I think my approach is better. I want to debate with you about it. Are you open up for the challenge? Mandan Mishra saw this debate as an opportunity to assert the superiority of his own philosophy over Shankaracharya's Adwaita. A stage was erected in the courtyard with seating arrangement for the two debaters and their principal disciples. On one side sat Shankaracharya, radiating an aura of profound wisdom and spiritual insight, while on the other side sat Mandan Mishra, confident in his intellectual prowess and the practical benefits of his way of life. The anticipation in the air was palpable as the crowd awaited the clash of these philosophical titles. The judge. Everyone unanimously looked up to Ubhaya Bharati, the wife of Mandan Mishra, and said, "You are not just an expert in Mimamsa and Vedanta, but in all philosophical systems. You are the best person to judge who wins or loses." She accepted the role of the judge, and when the debate began, Ubhaya Bharati asks the challenger Shankaracharya to speak first. Opening statements. Shankara said, "In my belief, God is the sole reality. By forsaking all material pursuits and dedicating ourselves solely to seeking God, we can start to see and sense His presence. Eventually, we may come to experience God as Satchit Ananda, an existence that is eternal and ever fresh. In that divine moment, the veil of Maya dissolves, the universe fades away, and the soul realizes its oneness with the divine, proclaiming Aham Brahmasmi, which means I am the divine. Through his profound connection, boundless joy and bliss washes away all the pain and suffering. This is my standpoint, and I am determined to defend it. However, if I am not able to do so, I am prepared to relinquish the role of a sannyasi. I'll marry, acquire a home, and become the disciple of the revered Acharya Mandan Mishra." Mandan Mishra's opening statements. With unwavering conviction, he asserted, "A person's fate hinges solely on their deeds, nothing else. If one toils, generates wealth, tends to their family, lives a life of moderation, they earn the privilege of health and happiness. But if you are lazy and wicked, then you will breed disease and misery. Only through steadfast devotion to duty can pain and suffering be eradicated. This is my stance. Should I fail to defend it, I will forsake my family, my wealth, my assets, and embrace the role of the disciple under the tutelage of the young monk Shankaracharya." The debate begins. Mandan Mishra attacks Shankara. "You say God is real, but I have never seen Him. I believe in what I see. My family, my house, my people, I can see them. How can you say that it isn't real, but something invisible is? You ask me to accept what I see is illusory, while what I cannot see is genuine? How can this be?" The crowd gathered there, agreed, understanding the point. Shankara responded calmly, "Respected Acharya, you raise a very valid point. Our eyes don't always reveal what's truly real. For example, air. Consider air around us. It is visible? No, yet it exists. Similarly, because we see something, it doesn't mean it is real. I see your shadow now, but is it substantial? In the desert, we may perceive a mirage of water, but is it genuine? Look beyond your senses. Grasp a reality that transcends mere perception." Mandan Mishra nodded in acknowledgement. He counterattacked. "Through my own experiences, Shankara, I have learned that a shadow lacks substance, because when I touch it, there is nothing tangible. Similarly, my repeated encounters with mirages in the desert have taught me what appears as water is merely an illusion, no doubt. Although I cannot see the air, I feel its effects through the wind, the hurricanes, the typhoons, and the cyclones, confirming its existence. I use inference and logic to deduce what I cannot directly see or perceive. For instance, if I see smoke in the distance and there are trees, I will conclude that there is fire. So using this reasoning, can you provide evidence, young monk, to convince me of the existence of God? I am open to accepting it if you can." Shankaracharya replies peacefully, "God isn't an object that you can touch or smell. Neither is God a concept that you can debate and prove. Instead, God is an experience, an anubhava. God is within you. Don't search for Him externally. Instead, find Him within the stillness of your heart. He's already there, waiting to be discovered. The interested crowd slowly started getting swayed by Shankara's arguments. For the next 14 days, the debate raged on. They delved into discussions about Atman, the soul, Brahman, God, Dharma, the path of righteousness, Artha, the pursuit of wealth, Yajna, fire ceremonies, Bhakti, devotion, Sannyasi, the path of renunciation, and Samsari, the path of householder. Karma, action, Jnana, wisdom, and above all, the quest for liberation from pain and suffering, moksha, were thoroughly explored. The audience was captivated, witnessing a level of depth and complexity in the discourse of these timeless and profound philosophies. Then came the 16th day of the debate. Mandan Mishra, who always thought God as an idea, as a concept, had a firm belief in the idea of self-effort, discipline and virtue. He was now awakening to higher reality, catching a glimpse of something beyond family, health and material possessions. Now he fired questions at great speed towards Shankaracharya. What's the connection between soul and God, soul and spirit? Shankaracharya replied, they are like the sun and its reflection. Just as there's one sun illuminating the whole world, its reflection appears in various bodies of water. Similarly, there is one God reflected in all the souls. Okay, you claim God is omnipresent in every atom and soul. Why can't I see Him? Shankaracharya smiled and responded with an analogy. Consider salt dissolved in water. You can't see it, yet it's there. Even with a tiny sip, you can taste it. Even if you pour out half the glass, the salt remains. Likewise, God pervades every aspect of creation, yet He transcends it. He is omnipresent, yet beyond. Mandan Mishra was spellbound. He finally said, I have another question. How can I encounter God? How can I attain that experience? Shankaracharya now shared a parable. Once a man from the kingdom of Gandhar found himself lost in a forest after being robbed, and his eyes and hands were bound. Despite his desperate attempt to return home, he wandered aimlessly for months. He relied on fading memories and faint sense of his homeland, but he was in finding his way back. Then another traveler who had been to Gandhar before came upon him, freed him from his restraints and guided him back home. Shankaracharya equated this to finding God. It requires the guidance of someone who has already trodden the path, a guru who leads you to God. Mandan Mishra, almost convinced, still had a lingering question. He asked, then what about the life of a householder and virtue that I have lived so far? Has it all been a waste? Shankaracharya said, no. In fact, it is a virtuous life that lays the foundation of spiritual growth. Actions purify the heart, and a pure heart can reflect the light of God. When a disciple is ready, the Guru appears. In that very moment, Mandan Mishra realized Shankaracharya's true greatness. He joyfully accepted Shankaracharya as his Guru. As the crowd watched in awe of Shankaracharya's wisdom, Mandan Mishra marveled at his newfound path and his Guru. At this point, Ubhaya Bharati, who was also the judge, stood up and said, I am the better half of Mandan Mishra's life. He cannot renounce it unless you answer my questions too. Will you debate me as well? This concludes the first part of this debate. Hope all of you enjoyed watching and listening to the same, and I was able to convey it with its essence. Do let us know through your comments in the comment box below. Do subscribe to our channel, like and share the videos with your near and dear ones. Do watch the second part of our release in the next couple of days. Until we meet next, Shubham Bhavat.